G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, this evening we've got a Zenith 24T-2 carb to overhaul. Now, this carb here, it's a Zenith 24T, but we're used to looking at this carb quite often, and with this carb here, this is our standard TE20 carb. It's a Zenith 24T-2, and this is just the one that we do most commonly. But we have an Allis Chalmers EB tractor carb. Now it's a Zenith 24T-2, but you will notice a few little differences on it. If we pop the side down like that, the drain on the Ferguson carb is on the side. On this one it's on the back, but it's still a 24T-2. The fuel inlet comes in the back, and it does on this fella too. We have a mixture screw at the back on both carbs. They both have the same mixture screw. A difference is the main jet. Now the main jet on this carb is a fixed main jet, and on the Ferguson one it's an adjustable main jet. Other differences too are the throttle linkage. Now if we put the carbs both the same way, this butterfly is on the other side of the Allis Chalmers carb. Now it looks like it's missing a screw. Actually this screw here, the idle speed screw, the idle mixture screws are in the same place, and the choke that's attached to the main throttle, well, it just has a lever on this Allis Chalmers carb. So just something of interest there. I found it interesting anyway. So what we're going to do with this carb is we're just going to pop it apart and do our usual to it. At this stage I've just got to get it apart and give the man an idea how much it is to repair it. I believe all the same parts will fit each carb, so we'll go with that. Now we'll just start off by separating the top and the bottom. I always like to do that and work on them separately. And I believe I can modify a TE20 butterfly shaft to fit in here. So that's the goal. Even though it comes out the other side, I believe I can fiddle with it and get it going. I've never done it before, and we're going to just try and see how we go with it. I've got a bit of shadow happening here. I've got the camera straight above the workbench, which is something I haven't done before. I'm not sure if it's a good idea with all this light around, or perhaps I've got to keep my, instead of coming down, keep my hand out of the bloody way, Lance. So we'll pop him apart and just see. Right, while we got it here, I might pull this idle mixture screw out. Normally I'd take them in, but I'm pretty sure I've got the settings worked out for that. Okay, can we get it apart? Yes, we can. Now that looks exactly the same as a TE20 carb. And so does this here. There's been a broken gasket there at some stage. This is a little paper gasket someone's made, and look at this. I've never seen that before. I'll try and keep it in the frame there, but they've got a, instead of the normal carb, they've got a float out of something else, and they've soldered a couple of wires across the top of it. Well, I've never seen that before. So I've got to get that out somehow. Now, out of interest, that's what a normal carb would be like. Oh, it's carb, sorry. Normal float would be like. So they've actually got this out of something else, and it looks like it's jammed in the bottom of this housing. I wonder, can I work 2 screwdrivers and get it out? Look at that. So who knows what that's out of, but they soldered 2 little wires across the top, and the little wires were actually supposed to just sit on that little button there, so I bet it flooded like buggery for them. I'm sure. And that slime, that oxidisation there, it's sort of from unleaded fuel, the cheaper unleaded fuel. I always use premium in mine nowadays, but that was interesting, I thought. Anyway, so we'll take this little gasket off, and the Venturi's on its way out too. That looks all exactly the same to me. Now the drain. One thing about the drain on the Ferguson carb comes out this way, so I don't think that's a big deal. Now we need a little spanner on there. And there should be a main jet down in that hole there. Can you see that at all? Oh, it's a bit hard to see for you, but it's very corroded in there. I think I'll leave that there until we can bead blast the housing. I'll have a little go, but just no, you can feel someone's had a go at that, and there's not even the screwdriver slot to get the jet out. Is it's all chamfered away, so it's all buggered. Okay, we'll bead blast the housing before we attempt that. Now we'll try and get the jets loose. Ooh, I'm not liking that too much. Now what I do sometimes is just give them a bit of a smack with a screwdriver, with a hammer. Looks a bit rough, but that sometimes the jarring in there, doing it that way, sometimes the jarring is just enough to get you underway. Look at that. That looks the same. And there we go. I think we got a bit lucky there. Now the choke plate, there's not much we can do with that, but I might just drop it out for cleaning. Well, that's coming undone nicely. try this other screw. We've had a good run so far. Yeah, that's coming. Now at this stage I'll just put a little mark on the butterfly there, so you can just see. Sometimes you look at a butterfly and you get a bit mixed up on where you think it's going to be or where you think it's going to work for you. I'm coming with this little screwdriver. The choke shafts on the Zenith I can't buy that I know of. There's those little screws. And normally we should be able to hop in there. I'll find my pair of pliers. Or a little moulding, huh? That's a bloody thing. I was cheating and I got caught out. Okay. So there's our choke plate. You can see our marks there, so we can, for the moment, what I like to do for bead blasting is if we pop that back in and put the screws back in, we get access to both sides of the screws to bead blast it, and we haven't got the chance of losing the screws. There's no real need. It looks like it had something on the end there. There's a split in that shaft. You can see just there. I don't know what that's about. You can find books on Allis Chalmers Model Bs with Sheebler carbs and things like that, but I've never done one like this. That's got a little bit of twist in it, this little bracket there. That's okay. So I reckon she was flooding and it was going out of that gasket, and poor old thing didn't have a hope, did it? And for that bottom housing there's not much more I can do with that. That's yeah, looking pretty good. Looking pretty terrible, but that's alright. That's what it's here for. Now the needle and seat, they get disregarded. It comes in a new kit. I use a Sparex kit for these. And that looks okay, sort of what we would expect to see. Now down here we need to undo the butterfly screws right down in the middle here. Always use the biggest screwdriver you can get away with using, if you can. I'll see if I've got one in between those two. This one here looks like a likely candidate. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that's come too. Oh, you got to get lucky now and then, don't you? Now I've taken photos of this carb before I pulled it apart, and look, everyone's got a phone now, so don't be shy to take a photo of something. And if you're going back and you're not sure, well, you can certainly have a reference to work with. We've got our pointy pliers down there once more. that's on its way. There we go. That's a bit marked up from me just there, but I don't worry about that because each kit has a new butterfly and butterfly shaft and all in it. So we'll pop these screws back in just so we don't lose them. The new kits often come with the right screws, but I have little habits when I work on things that I like to stick with. Now the kit for this is a Sparex, an S42540, and I'd just like to check a couple of things while we're all here together. We'll just pop that open. And the part I'm looking for is the butterfly shaft. Now this is the TE20 one, and this is the bloody Allis Chalmers EB, Model B. And look, I think when we sit the butterflies together, we have a slight difference in the angle of the butterfly here. Look, there's not much in it. I'm pretty pleased with that. I think we're going okay. I'll pop that out of the way. But I think that'll be fine. I can't see a problem coming there. Now we'll just pop this shaft, pop the butterfly out. We'll pop him in the housing here, and the plug's still in this end here, so yeah, she's certainly snug, which is really good, because I can possibly, I'll just drop a bit of lube there. This old carb hadn't gone in a long time, poor old thing. No, that's good. Look, that gives me a chance now to run a ream down that hole and get that hole sitting nicely. Yeah, boy, that's close. So this is 1/4 inch, the standard one's 1/4 inch. It may have a bush. No, oh look, I don't think it has, but that gives me a chance to put a 1/4 ream down through there. The butterfly fits down. That's good. That's the same way. So if we put the butterfly there with the screws at the top, same as this, I think we're going to go the winner. Okay, that's it. That's it for dismantling the car. Now, I'll go and clean it all up. I presume the fella will go ahead with it, but it's a courtesy to ring and have a chat first and give them a price and things like that. On these carbs, I usually just charge the retail price for the parts, which you buy off Queensland Tractor Spares, and I charge $110 normally. So, and that just includes whatever has to happen. That's bead blast, and if I have to bush this, that's all in $110. But I think we're right with bushing. We can just ream that to size. I'll pop these screws back in here. There we go, put them back in, and I'll talk to the customer now. We'll talk about doing the carb up, what it needs. It needs a float. It needs this here. It may need a main jet up the end there, and there may be a bit of extra time involved in getting that out, which I don't charge for. It's just part of the service, and I can't see anything else there really that I need to do. So there you go. That's stripping the carb off a Allis Chalmers EB, the English version of an Allis Chalmers. You can still see the little bits of orange paint here and there on it. So we'll have a talk to him. I presume he wants it all bead blasted up so it comes up all pretty like this, and we'll just work it from there.